Welcome to today's webinar hosted by Prevention Plus Wellness LLC here in beautiful St. Augustine, Florida, and also historic St. Augustine. Hey, if you're ever in the area, let me know. I'd love to buy you a cup of coffee and chat with you. My name is Dr. Chudley Wirch, and I'm CEO and founder at Prevention Plus Wellness. So today we're talking about parent lifestyle behavior PPW programs. That's Prevention Plus Wellness Programs. I don't think we'll need the whole hour. I want to go through this rather quickly so that if you have any questions or comments, and we could spend a little bit more time in discussion. So plan for that today. Plan to participate. I think we've got a smaller, intimate group today. So this is your time. So use it as you like. Feel free to share what you know, what you don't know, and think of it as an opportunity to learn and to help others, other prevention and health specialists, teachers, coaches, parents from across the country and even world. We got people from South Korea here today. So there's three objectives for today's session. You'll be able to, at the end of today's session, be able to describe the parent lifestyle prevention plus wellness programs for youth and young adults. Number two, to discuss the steps for implementing the parent PPW programs. And then thirdly, number three, explore sample slides from one of our parent PPW programs. So we're going to do all of that in pretty quick order. So, and again, anytime you have a question, you have a comment, feel free to click on the chat option or the Q&A option and type that in. And then toward the end, we'll look at those comments in the order that you guys sent them in. So what are PPW programs, parent PPW programs? They are essentially our original manual-based youth programs, but what we did was we converted them, adapted them so that they can be used by parents and caregivers. We know parents, caregivers have an essential role, play an essential role in shaping the health habits of their youth. That includes avoiding substance use as well as increasing health promoting behaviors. And so it's always important to get parents involved. And this is the way that you can do that with these programs. The parent PPW programs consist of just a single session, like most of our youth programs, because our youth programs are being adapted into this parent format. The parent programs are also a single session, and it's a PowerPoint-driven workshop that you, as a prevention and health specialist or teacher or coach, can present to parents in your community so that the parents can, and of course, parents are busy. They don't have time generally to attend parent training that lasts multiple sessions. So this single session parent prevention plus wellness program is, I think, very feasible to reach almost all of your parents in your region with a parent PPW program. And what you do is you're going to provide them with a motivational, evidence-based lifestyle behavior content and goal-setting tools that they could share with their youth at home. Just like if you present a PPW program to youth in some other setting, whether it be a school or sports or Boys and Girls Club or juvenile justice or whatever the case may be, this is an opportunity for you to train parents and give them the resources and tools to provide prevention plus wellness communication and tools at home. So it's a win-win, because if you provide youth with prevention plus wellness communication and goal setting, and parents do that, then youth are going to get that reinforcing messages from two important sources: parents as well as you, whether you're, again, a teacher, a coach, a prevention specialist, or what have you. So that's what parent PPW programs are. So what do they include? There's three components, as you can see here on the right. They include the PowerPoint training slides, and I want to walk you through samples of the slides, and these slides include notes, which will help you present this to parents. Secondly, you have instructor directions, step-by-step directions. I think they're just 8 steps, very simple. I'm going to walk you through all 8 of those steps today. So you'll have a real good sense of how you could present this to parents in your community. And then thirdly, you have a parent guide that you can make copies of, or you could send it as an email if you want, a link. And this is the material that parents can use at home. So you give them resources beyond just the slides that you show. You give them this parent guide, which the parents can take home and remind them and continue to use with their youth. Okay, so those are the three components of Parent PPW programs: the slides, the step-by-step directions for you as the instructor, and a parent guide. So what PPW programs have been adopted for parents and caregivers, you can see them here at the sport, alcohol and drug PPW program, the vaping, which is our e-cigarette program, the marijuana program, the opioid program, and even the InShape PPW program for young adults if you have young adult children at home or interact with them. So sport, vaping, marijuana, opioids for youth, InShape is for young adults. So in case your kids are at home, young adults are going to school but still at home, you can use the InShape program. So all of these are versions of the Parent PPW program. All right, so now let me walk you through the step-by-step directions for implementing a Parent PPW program training. So you can see them right here, step 1 through 4. Step 1, training is really important for us to train you. So we can do that virtually, live online, and there's an opportunity for you to purchase that training. Excuse me. Live online training takes a couple hours, and I can walk you through that training, walk you through the slides, walk you through the directions, step-by-step directions like I'm showing you here, and the parent materials, the guide that you can give them. So the training, very important. Now, is it possible for you to just buy the parent program, let's say the sport program, marijuana program, vaping program, whatever, and just look at the directions and implement it yourself? Yes, you can. But we found training always very, very useful in helping really get that nuance and understand it better so you can get the most out of your program. So if you do plan to purchase a Parent PPW program, also good to order up the live training, online training. That's number 1, training. Number 2, what you're going to do then after you're trained is to provide the parent program presentation to parents using the PowerPoint slides. And you read the notes in the slides to guide you during your presentation. That will help you remember some things, the notes that we put in at the notes section, the bottom of your slides. So you present, you literally just show your parents and caregivers the slides. And this is done in just a single session. And your program can be very much tailored depending on how much time you have with parents. If you have an hour, you can adjust it to an hour or even less. If you have several hours, you can easily expand it. So I'll explain this as we go along today. Number 3, you allow your parents and your guardians, your caregivers, time to practice each of the behavior message sets and to provide positive coaching to them while they practice. So this is really important to give parents, to help parents gain some self-efficacy, some self-confidence, that they can provide these brief prevention plus messages to their youth at home. And so getting them an opportunity to practice even briefly, I think, is very, very important. And of course, again, if you have 2 or 3 or 4 hours with the parents, you could have them practice a lot in any format you want, in pairs, in the whole group, however you choose to do that, it's up to you. We can discuss that more during your training if you take the training for your Parent PPW programs. And again, giving them positive feedback, encouraging them to implement these messages with a lot of enthusiasm and passion and confidence. Number 4, then you want to walk parents through the components of the goal plan. That's the second part of the PPW program. You got the feedback, the messages that integrate substance use avoidance with healthy behavior promotion. And then secondly, you've got the goal plan, which is the behavioral piece, the action piece. So you're going to walk parents through that as well. All right, continuing with these steps for implementation of your Parent PPW program. Number 5, you're going to have your participating parents complete the presentation evaluation. This is important because we want to get feedback on how well the training went for you, and we can share that feedback with you. So it's a feedback loop. So after your training with your parents, your caregivers, your guardians, whatever you want to call them, show this link, this online link to evaluation, so that parents have a chance. And of course, we always think it's better to let parents complete the evaluation before you dismiss them. That way you'll get much more participation. And that will give you the data, the feedback on how well your training went, and we'll share that with you. Number 6, you want to remind parents to go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com, and go to the resources page. Note that there's some good resources there for them to continue to learn about integrating prevention and wellness, integrating the promotion of healthy behaviors like physical activity and sports, healthy breakfast and nutrition, sleep, stress control, and other wellness promoting behaviors with the avoidance of alcohol, cigarettes, marijuana, opioids, tobacco, etc. So you want to share with your parents before they leave your training the fact that there's a Prevention Plus Wellness page, and on that page are some resources that they could use as parents. Number 7, you want to hand out a copy of the parent guide. These are the resources that you want to give them after you train them using the PowerPoint slides. And that could be a physical copy that you make if you want to. Do that. It's colored, it's detailed, good information. You can print it in color, you can print it in black and white, whatever you want, or you could send the link to the guide to parents if you so choose. And lastly, any questions and problems that come up during your parent training, please forward them to us at info@preventionpluswellness.com. That way we'll be able to help you address any problems and questions that maybe you couldn't answer during the training, so that you could follow up with parents, or perhaps next time you do the training, you'll be able to address those issues. So that's it. Those are 8 very quick steps, very simple. It's all laid out beautifully for you for training your parents, your caregivers, your guardians. If you have youth in your region and you want to share these essential PPW messages and goal plan tools with your parents. So now let's take a look at some of the trainings, a sample of the training slides. And so remember, there's PPW programs, Parent PPW programs for the sport program. That's our alcohol drug program. For the vaping program, that's our e-cigarette program, opioid program, marijuana program, and InShape program for young adults. So these are your options. We're now going to look at the training slides, or some of them, not all of them, but some of the training slides that you would show to your parents during your 1-session training. Okay, and here are the objectives of the training. So these are the slides. You'll be showing the slides, and you'll note to the parents that they'll be able to identify why they should communicate with their sons and daughters at home, their youth at home, that both preventing substance use and promoting wellness behaviors is essential to promoting their physical and their mental health. That both of those things, not one or the other, both, avoiding risky substance use and making sure they are engaged in all of these essential wellness behaviors, really important to them, addressing being successful and feeling good and doing well in life. Secondly, you're going to share with your parents a 3-step evidence-based model for providing positive messages and goal planning at home, that the parents could do this at home. And thirdly, you're going to pause and let the parents practice these positive message sets, prevention plus wellness message sets, providing their youth with goal setting, and you're going to give them as much experience as you have time to give them during your 1-session training with your parents, caregivers, guardians. Okay, any questions so far? Let me know if there are any questions. write them in the chat space, write them in the Q&A, and I'll address them when we're done looking at these slides. So these are the actual slides that you would be presenting if you were to train parents right now in the sport Parent Prevention Plus Wellness program. Let's say you're presenting sport to youth in your school, in a community setting, and whatever setting, and you wanted parents to also provide and reinforce these messages. This would be the program that you would use and you would train parents in. So here you can see the notes below highlight commonly used substances by adolescents. So there's a lot of slides here in the parent program. So we actually went overboard, I think, with the slides. So after we train you in how to present these to parents, you could choose and adopt and tailor, I would say, the slides to your training. So if you had less time, some of the slides you maybe would not show. And if you had more time, you could show all of the slides. So we wanted to start out the training by showing, for example, common substances in the order that they're found typically across the nation and most regions of and states of the nation. And you can see here very quickly, alcohol is the most prevalently used substance. 6 out of 10 youth have used alcohol sometime in their lives, followed by vaping e-cigarettes. Half of youth have vaped e-cigarettes, and so on. So you're familiar with these data probably. But then you also want to show that young people nowadays are at risk for health risks for chronic disease and also mental health illnesses. Like they're not, 3 out of 4 not getting even 8 hours of sleep. By the way, some adolescents need 9 hours or 10 hours. Children need 9 or 10 hours, depending on what age you're talking about. So they're not getting enough sleep. Most are drinking sodas. Look at that. Only as 41 to 42% of high school adolescents are eating less than 1 fruit and vegetable a day. Could you believe that? They should be having at least 2 servings of fruits, 3 servings of vegetables, and they're really undernourished with regard to these essential food sources for vitamins and minerals. Only a third are eating breakfast. That's high school. These are high school US data. Again, excuse me. So 2/3 are not eating breakfast. And of those third eating breakfast every day, we don't even know how healthy it is. So, and physical activity, the required amount is an hour a day. And you can see here less than 1 in 4 are getting the amount of physical activity. So you can see, and many of these health behaviors, physical activity, nutrition, sleep, have deteriorated even further during COVID, particularly nutrition and physical activity. So a great need to focus on these behaviors in addition to avoiding substance use. In fact, I could show you why we want to look at this. Look at the note below. It says compare rates of early alcohol use for each of the wellness behaviors. And these are actual data, US national data, high school data. And we're looking at wellness behaviors in relation to drinking alcohol before age 13, which is a great indicator of problem use later in life. So really, that's way too early for anybody to start drinking. We want youth, of course, to not drink, to not use substances until complete brain development. 25 years old, ideal, but at least till adulthood, 21, and the later the better, if ever. And there's a number of slides that are shown, and then there's this conclusion slide. I'm not going to show you all the slides because there's too many of them. And the conclusion is that wellness behaviors, including those associated with physical activity, particularly screen time, nutrition, especially breakfast eating, and sleep, were associated with less likelihood of drinking alcohol before age 13. So these health behaviors, appear to be potentially protective against alcohol. And so parents and caregivers should promote wellness behaviors in addition to preventing alcohol and drug use to really help young people. Then we show some slides, again, actual high school US data on adolescent wellness behaviors, physical activity, nutrition, and sleep in relation to mental health. And at the end of the slide, you see this concluding slide that all of these 7 risk factors to the right, these risk behaviors to the right, these health behaviors to the right, were associated with young people feeling sad or hopeless, as well as thinking of seriously considering suicide. So if youth got 60 minutes of physical activity 5 or more days a week, less likely to feel sad or hopeless, less likely to consider suicide. If they got 8 or more hours of sleep, if they ate breakfast every day, all of these health behaviors, these wellness behaviors were associated with less mental health problems. Okay, really important. And so again, the conclusion, we want to promote these behaviors among our youth, among your sons and daughters, if you're a parent. Here's some more data. You can look at the note below. Healthy lifestyles, getting regular physical activity, eating a healthy breakfast and healthy foods, including plenty of fruits and vegetables, and getting plenty of sleep. And the research shows that healthy lifestyles are associated among young people with less depression, anxiety, unsafe sex, as well as less alcohol, tobacco, and illicit drug use, and many other benefits. So, so parents and caregivers, along with prevention and healthcare providers and coaches and teachers, et cetera, should be promoting overall health of young people. And one way to do that is to promote all of these wellness behaviors, protective behaviors, while also promoting the avoidance of risk behaviors, substance use. How do you do that? I'm going to show you, and you're going to show, these are the slides to show parents how they can do that. The key is to introduce to parents a model for integrating of messages to avoid substance use with promoting healthy behaviors. So this slide, from this slide on, is really introducing parents to the theoretical model, the behavior image model. You can choose, when you present this to parents, if you have time to do this, if you think your parents would be interested in this. So again, you as the presenter of your Parent PPW program, you could tailor it depending on the needs of the parents and your time. So this highlights the behavior image model, introduces the behavior image model, the components, which is really 1, using positive image communication to increase motivation for change among your young people by using positive image terms like fit and active and successful, et cetera, and linking those to healthy behaviors, wellness behaviors, and then how alcohol and drugs interferes with that. And then secondly, giving youth an opportunity to initiate behavior change, to increase their self-confidence, their self-efficacy, and their self-regulation skills by setting goals and monitoring their behaviors to improve their health habits. That's the 2-step process. It's really a 3-step process. Number 1, and this is the process that's adapted for parents now. Parents should think about their youth's healthy behaviors, not just alcohol use, but if you're presenting the marijuana program, the marijuana use, the vaping program, e-cigarette use, but also their wellness habits, physical activity, nutrition, sleep, et cetera. Secondly, providing positive image feedback. Thirdly, asking them to set goals. So this is the 3-step process you're introducing to parents. So this slide is really important, and you can see the note below. This is this 3-step screening and brief intervention model for parents to provide prevention plus wellness messages and goal setting to youth. So now from here on in, you're going to walk the parents. This is the core here of the information. You're going to walk parents through this 3-step process, screening, feedback, goal setting, and you're going to help them gain these skills to present this to their youth. So remember, step number 1 is you want your parents to think about their youth's health habits. Now, if you present this sport or marijuana or opioid or vaping PPW program or in-shape PPW program to youth individually or directly, you would ask youth to complete the screening survey. Here, you're asking parents to think about their youth's behavior. So here's the first question. You ask your parents to and most parents know these answers. They see their youth, so they can answer to themselves. Have them answer, what sports or physical activities do you recall seeing your youth play in the last year? There's a long list there, starting with A, baseball or softball, basketball. And this doesn't have to be on a team. This could be just playing with these balls, playing catch, shooting hoops, etc. And it continues all the way down to others. And you could have parents maybe even identify other physical activities they saw their youth participate in. It could be other sports. It could be even work or chores that they do at home or for others, like mowing the yard or cleaning dishes, for example. Then question 2, does your son or daughter participate in physical activity at least 30 minutes 4 or 5 times a week? Yes or no. They just answer to themselves, having parents answer to themselves about their sons or daughters. Number 3, does your son or daughter have friends that influence them to participate in regular physical activity? Yes or no. Number 5, does your son or daughter usually eat a healthy breakfast each morning? And there's some examples: whole wheat toast, oatmeal, eggs, yogurt, fruit, etc. And there's a couple other questions. So that's step 1. You ask parents to think about their youth's health behaviors. And number 2, now you're going to walk parents through behavioral sets about how to link prevention and wellness messages for their youth that they could start sharing with their sons and daughters at home. And you want the parents to practice these behavior sets depending on how much time you have. So starting with physical activity in the last year. So essentially you're presenting an adapted version of the sport program or the marijuana PPW program or the vaping or opioid PPW program or in-shape PPW. You're presenting this to the parents to turn around and then present this to their youth at home, starting with the messages, starting with the message on physical activity in the last year. And the easiest way to do this is to with parents is to just show them the slides to the PPW program. So it's very brief and to the point. And so the first part of this 2-step messaging is the left-hand column there. Mention the benefits of physical activity and sports to your youth. And some of them are on the right. Sports and physical activities like basketball, like soccer, like walking, like biking, like whatever. Fun, help you look fit and strong, feel good about yourself, give you lots of energy, do better in school and work. So these are the messages that you want parents to give to the youth, and you're going to have your parents practice this. But this is just the first part of the message. Don't forget the second part. And an active life and alcohol and drugs don't mix. Why? Because alcohol and drugs messes up your relationship. It harms how well you do in sports, how you feel about yourself. It reduces your energy level, number 4. Number 5, it influences and harms how well you do at work and school. So this is the 2-step messaging. There's the first step. There's the benefits of sports and physical activities. Here are how alcohol and drugs harms that. And so this is a message set A and B, 1 and 2. And now you could break if you want to and let parents practice that. And they could spin off and come up with their own messages if they want, but at least they'll give a little chance of how they can link these messages, first highlighting all of these wonderful benefits of this particular health behavior, sports and physical activities, a foundation of physical and mental health, and then how substance use, particularly alcohol, in this case, interferes with achieving those benefits. And then you can go on to a practicing message about a breakfast and nutrition, for example. There's the benefits of breakfast, some of the benefits, and what a healthy breakfast includes, 5 or more servings of fruits and veggies, etc. And here's how alcohol and drugs interferes with nutritional uptake and leads to, weight gain. And then there's messages about alcohol, such as alcohol. Ask your youth what problems alcohol could cause to young people like them. They can come up with their own, and then you could share some on the right, like arguing and fighting, doing things you later regret, shallow conversations, etc. So really good content here. You're training your parents to learn these and feel comfortable with these messages, you're going to give them a copy of the messages to take home, and they can, when appropriate, present a message, a brief message here and there to their youth. And you're going to show them how to do that and when to do that. You're also going to talk to your parents about how to tailor their messages. For example, if they see youth engage in wellness behaviors, you're going to have your parents remind your parents that they need to provide these positive, immediate feedback. Good for you. That's great. Wonderful, etc. So again, parents can practice these tailoring of the behavior messages. You can talk about stop and think questions that parents can ask their youth, like, hey, what types of physical activities do you like to practice? Or which of your friends or even family members encourage you to engage in healthy behaviors like physical activity and healthy eating? So you can ask these questions or one of these questions to youth to get them to stop and think about their health habits. Very, very important to get them to reflect on their health behaviors. When do you provide these messages will be a question for your parents. And so you're going to give them some answers to that. For example, number one, if parents see their sons or daughters engage in any of these healthy behaviors, playing physical activity, eating a breakfast, preparing to go to sleep, that's a good time to present one of these messages. Okay, so you'll be talking to them about when to present these messages and tips for providing positive messages. And all of that you'll be presenting, and you'll be letting your parents practice some of these as well. And that's the second step. That's the feedback. That's the messaging. And then step 3 is asking you to complete a goal plan. So what can you do here? Where you're going to walk your parents through a goal plan that you're going to give them. And here are the components of the goal plan, which are very, very good goal plans, have been found to be effective in our prevention plus wellness programs. And the components are, number 1, having youth select or pledge to avoid alcohol and drug use, to select a healthy behavior to increase, to set a measurable goal. Then they sign it, and you can co-sign it or have your youth find somebody else to co-sign it if they want, and identify a place to post their goals and track them every day for the next 7 days, short-term 7-day. And there's even a calendar log. And so you can help your youth set these goals, remind them to check their behaviors every day, and remind them to set goals the following week and the following week after that. And so you'll give them a link to an online goal, and they can complete it online and print it out, or you could print out copies of it if you want. And then there's some directions, and then you can go over these directions with your parents so that they could share these and help their youth set specific, measurable, achievable goals, which is so important to them, initiating their behavior change and learning to be confident about behaviors, including and toward the goal of 60 minutes of physical activity every day, healthy breakfast every day, 5 or more fruits and vegetables every day, 8 or more hours of sleep every day, and even practicing some kind of a relaxation or stress control technique every day. All of those are ultimate goals, and you're training your parents to give them their kids some ideas as to how they can achieve those ultimate goals step by step, and suggestions for goal setting and other parent and caregiver tips. Again, like I said, there's just a wealth of information here. You can present what you want to parents depending on how much time you have, and then you can give them the guide which they can take home and continue to read and remind them and support their presentation of positive messages and goal setting at home with their kids. And that's the end of the slides. Here's a reminder for parents to go to preventionpluswellness.com and look under resources for more parent resources, and thank the parents. And there's the evaluation link. At this point, you could send this to your parents. They could click on it, and they can complete the evaluation of the training that you presented them. That feedback will come to us. We'll look at it and share it with you. So in addition to those slides that you present to parents, there's also this parent program guide. So again, this is the cover page of it. It has all the tools and the resources to remind the parents as to how to present these positive messages and the goal setting for their youth. You can make a hard copy of it. You could send a link to it, whatever you want to do. It's up to you for your parents. So let me just conclude about this parent training. Parent Prevention Plus Wellness training programs are our original youth programs that have been modified to present directly to parents, caregivers, and guardians, so that the messages that you present to youth in schools or community settings can also be presented by the parents at home, so that the kids can have a reinforcing message. Really, really good. The more sources they hear these positive prevention plus messages from, the more sources they are encouraged to set goals to improve their health behaviors every week, the better. Secondly, to conclude, Parent PPW programs consist of this one session PowerPoint driven slide presentation with instructor directions and handouts for parent caregivers. Those are the three components of any of the Parent PPW programs. And lastly, these materials are designed for reaching busy parents because it's just a single session. So most cases, you'll be able to get parents together for one session, one training session. Sometimes you have to provide incentives, you have to do something to get them in, but normally you'll be able to do at least one period with your parents, and it could be at any setting that you can present this PowerPoint slide presentation to, let them practice the materials, and then give them the guide to take home. And this is essential to get this evidence-based prevention plus wellness messages in the home setting from the parents themselves. Now, we're here to help you. If you need more information about Parent PPW programs or any of our PPW programs, go to our website, preventionpluswellness.com, or email us at info@preventionpluswellness.com, or call us here in St. Augustine, 904-472-5022. And that's it for this presentation. I know I whipped through it very quickly, but I wanted to do that so I could see if anybody had any questions, because sometimes this can be a little bit confusing. You know, what's the difference between the typical sport program that we present to youth versus the Parent PPW program, which we present to parents, caregivers, and guardians that then present it to their youth at home. So that's the key difference. Let me see if there's any questions or comments in the chat space. Esther found it useful. You missed tennis, haha. I did, you're kidding me. Don't forget then to mention tennis. There's a lot of sports or physical activities not listed on that first question. Pickleball, for example, the nation's fastest growing sport. Lots of others, lots of regional sports and activities. And again, we don't have work and chores and things that are listed. So parents can mention these and help and you as providers of PPW programs to youth directly can mention these, so that youth get a full picture of what physical activity is. It's fun things, it's sport things, it's work things, it's moving the body. And that's what we're meant to do biologically, and it's essential for physical and mental health. So, and you want to give youth credit for moving their bodies. That's why sometimes these tools, like this one here, or apps are helpful, just so that we as adults and youth can start seeing amount of steps that we've taken. And I think those kinds of things can fit nicely with your PPW program or your Parent PPW programs. Yes, it looks like Sonora asked if we're going to have information on the sport program. Yes, we have a few weeks ago. We'll be repeating that. By the way, for those of you that are really interested in these things, go to our website, check out the program description. And also we do have a YouTube channel, and all of these, or not all, but many of these recorded sessions are on YouTube. So you could just search Prevention Plus Wellness and you'll see some of the previous presentations if you really want to look at them right away. But we do rotate these presentations of all of our programs and many other topics, Prevention Plus Wellness topics throughout the year. So thanks for asking that question. Always on the second page, tennis. Okay, that's good. I thought we did. I didn't think we left out tennis. That's very important sport for a lot of youth. Yes, you'll be getting the slides. Thank you for asking that. And I'll be sending you the slides. I'll be sending you the link to the recorded session. I'll be sending you a certificate for 1 hour CEU if you spend time with us listening to this. Let me see if I missed anything else. Thank you. Thank you. Are you going to have an information session sport? Thank you. Are all the programs evidence-based? Good question from Sonora about evidence-based. So we have 2 of our programs, sport for youth. We have a high school, middle school, elementary school version, and In Shape for young adults. Those are evidence-based because both of those have been evaluated, have been found to effectively prevent substances like alcohol, tobacco, marijuana, and promoting healthy behaviors like physical activity in a single session. And then our other programs are adaptations of those evidence-based programs. So we sometimes call them evidence-informed programs. That's our marijuana, our opioid, our vaping PPW programs, our racial justice PPW program, Sport 2 PPW, which is our 6-session program. Am I missing anything? By the way, we have the sport program in a video format now, in case you want to make it even easier to implement, rather than using your manual to present the message. You just show the video. That's a sport PPW video program. So we've got a lot of adaptations of our programs. Remember, all PPW programs use the evidence-based practices, screening, and brief intervention format. So in a sense, I think everybody can make the case here that our programs are evidence-based practices. Thank you. I'll check the YouTube, and thank you, everybody. Thank you guys. God bless you for what you do, helping youth, helping families in your communities throughout the country and throughout the world. Thank you for hopping on and joining us today. You'll be hearing from me. No need to email me. I'll send you an email today. If you don't get it, look in your spam folder, because the attachments, sometimes it gets sent to your spam folder. So you'll get all this information. Thank you very much. And hand clap to you guys for all you're doing with youth and families in your regions. And God bless you. And let me know if we can help you at all through what we provide in our training and our programs at preventionpluswellness.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves and stay safe. Bye-bye, everyone.